I'm Rabbi Alan Tufts, and I'm speaking to you from my study here at Temple Bethel in Hollywood, Florida. I want to set before you today the following proposition. Nothing gets done without faith. What do I mean by faith? By faith, I mean the belief in truth, in certain propositions and certain possibilities, even though they may not be provable through empirical or rational means. By faith, I mean the openness to a vision of a better world, even without a detailed plan on how to accomplish that. I mean being open to a possibility of a life's journey or some great project, even though you don't quite have a roadmap or a definite plan on how to accomplish that. Now, faith is a difficult concept for us moderns who have been taught not to believe in those things that we cannot see. Why should we embark on a journey without the absolute certainty that we will arrive safely at our destination? And why should we begin a project unless we know for sure that we can complete it? Well, this week's Torah portion, Chukot, which can be found beginning in the 19th chapter of the book of Numbers, teaches us the importance of faith and the limitations of the rational mind. Now, this week's Torah portion begins with a very strange commandment, a very strange ritual. It's called the Parah Adumah, which is translated into English as the red heifer. Moses and Aaron are commanded to look for a completely red cow, to sacrifice this cow, to reduce it to ashes, and then to mix its ashes with hyssop, which is this small little red weed that grows all over the Middle East, with cedar bark from the great cedars of Lebanon, and some mysterious red substance called tola'at. We're not quite sure what tola'at was. And what was this mixture used for? It would be used to purify people who had become ritually impure, usually after they had touched a corpse. Now here's something very peculiar about this. Whoever handles this mixture, whoever sprinkles it on the person who is to become pure, that person himself becomes impure. And it is the most baffling of all of the rituals and laws found in the Torah. And for generations, the best Jewish minds have thought about this ritual of the red heifer, and no one has been able to come up with a rational explanation. Even King Solomon, who was considered the wisest man who ever lived in Israel, threw up his hands and said, the only reason I can come up with this commandment is that it teaches us to accept certain things on faith. Not everything is provable. Now, later on in the Torah portion, we see that the people, that the Israelites have come into an area called Meribah, and there's no water there. And they tell Moses, they tell him that they need water. And God commands Moses to speak to a rock there, to this big rock that happened to be there, to speak to it and to tell it to give forth water. Moses doesn't quite believe that if he just speaks to the rock that anything is going to happen. So he takes his staff and he hits the rock not once but twice. And sure enough, water gushes from the rock. Now, the Bible tells us that this was a demonstration of Moses' lack of faith. He was told simply to speak to the rock, and yet he hits the rock. And for this demonstration of lack of faith, he is not allowed to enter the promised land. So what am I suggesting here by saying that nothing gets done in the world without faith? Now, I'm not suggesting that we seek, or that we cease looking for rational explanations for life's dilemmas. I'm not suggesting that we should act recklessly without caution and without proper planning. What I'm saying is this, that each of us needs a vision of something better for ourselves, for our families, for our community. Each of us needs faith that we can make that vision a reality. We need the trust to begin the journey. We must have the courage to leave the narrow confines of Egypt and to set out for our promised land, wherever that might be, whatever that might be. With God's help, with our faith in God, we will eventually get there. Shabbat Shalom.